Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking beyond Sidhu's cure claim. A week since cricketer turned politician, Navjot writing public letters and appeals, some filing cases in the court and saying this isn't the complete, neither the real picture. Today, the court, by hearing a petition against Sidhu's claims of cancer cure, said this: fear of legal action or contempt, we still have freedom of speech in this country. The court goes on to say there are books that are bad, you don't have to read them. Don't read them. Who is asking you to? Just close them. In fact, Justice Gadela went on and filed a PIL against the manufacturing of cigarette and alcohol instead. I'm sure you will agree that cannot be healthy at all. But it was in 2020, Supreme Court, while ordering action against spreading false information on COVID treatment, several such judgments, observations from the Supreme Court. It was in 2015 that the Supreme Court stated the free speech can't be curtailed unless it poses clear and present danger. There are more important judgments as well that are there on your screen, but let's just shift the poster diet. We'll get to the diet in a bit. Earlier, Sidhu had highlighted that his wife had received most of her treatment for cancer, which was at stage 4 at government hospitals. And she defeated cancer not because we had money, but because she was disgusting berries and nuts, so on and so forth. Well, that's something that has been hugely controversial. But as we said, we are looking tonight at something which is beyond the claims of what Navjot Singh Sidhu made. If I'm correct, a 830 crore rupees defamation case against Mrs. Sidhu, in fact. But let me introduce my other panelists as well. Acharya Vikramaditya, founder for Vivekananda Nature Cure Hospital, Dr. Prashant Mehta, who's an oncologist. Firstly, let me just come to you at this point, Rekha Agarwal. What do you make out of what the court has said? Because there's a lot of hue and cry. There's a lot of opposition to what Mr. Sidhu has claimed. There are top oncologists who have gone, making it very clear, and some very, very strong words saying oppose free speech with free speech and not fear of legal contempt.
Thank you so much for inviting me for your show. Citizen is protected by the Constitution of India, which has given us certain fundamental rights. And freedom of speech and expression is one of the foremost and most important fundamental rights that every citizen of this country enjoys, whether he's a politician, whether he's a judge, whether he's a lawyer, whether he's... I think that there was no need at all for this person who went and filed this case in the High Court, the Public Interest Litigation, PIL, claiming that this person is giving misinformation or that, he's leading people astray and that this is going to be harmful to health, etc., whatever the fears may be, whatever he may do. Tomorrow he's talking about having a particular diet. For example, haldi. Have haldi, this is cured my wife's, cancer. Tomorrow he may say something else which may be absolutely shocking. For example, he may say, have a diet of chilies, instead. This is going to cure. His wife has got cured. Now, whether his wife has got cured because of the treatment given by the specialist doctor, the oncologist who treated her, or whether it was the particular diet he followed. So he has a fond belief that it was besides the chemotherapy and other treatment that his wife may have undergone, but is fit and fine. So that's it. So I don't think that there was any reason whatsoever for this person to file this PIL, claiming that whatever Mr. Sidhu is saying is preposterous and he should be stopped from doing so.
Okay, let me just get in Dr. Kuldeep Solanki at this case against not Mr. Sidhu who made these claims, but his wife who has recovered from cancer. Firstly, why his wife? And secondly, what made you file this case?
Namaskar to you and all your viewers. Here are a few of the facts. As our eminent lawyer has rightly said, there is 100% freedom of speech, but there is a caveat that one cannot speak anything, anytime, anywhere, and it should not damage other people's life. As far as neem, haldi, and other things, his wife got cured. I wish to emphasize the word cured of stage 4 cancer. There are various reports that this is basically a false claim, and there are enough evidence on various handles. If she agrees to that, what Mr. Sidhu is propounding is what has cured her cancer, then please go ahead and give us the documents so that we can take it to the next level. I will want to make it very clear. We have requested the documents
You
and
know
the
the question,
timeline
but
of her case.
I understand. So I hear you. I understand your perspective of why you have reached the court. But the question that I still want to ask you is why the wife? She has not come out and made any claims in the public. She is somebody who's just recovered from cancer thing.
We have just asked for clarification from her side whether she agrees to it or not. If she agrees, then we have requested for the data and the timeline of the treatment. We are not forcing her. And if she fails, if these claims are false, only thing human loss in form of morbidity, mortality, because people are now shifting over to what Sidhu formula is going around. And third and last, but not the least, Ayurveda is 20,000 years, just another 30 seconds and I'll finish it off. 20,000-year-old science is myth.
All right, that's Dr. Kuldeep Solanki, who has also gone to the court, who's also sent a notice, a defamation notice against Mrs. Sidhu in this particular case. Aditya Pratap is yet to join us. He hasn't joined us at this point. But let me just come to Dr. Prashant. I don't think you heard the panelists earlier, but we had Advocate Rekha who made this very clear that, you know, the court has done what is right. Free speech is something that needs to be countered with free speech. We had a petitioner here who went on to say that he has filed a defamation case of almost 8. If you don't like something, don't listen to it. If you don't like something, don't hear it. More importantly, Mr. Sidhu has said what he believes worked for him. It is his opinion. He's not asking anybody to follow him. But how do you look at what really the court has said?
Well, I do believe that the court, instead of asking the petition to withdraw the PIL, could have actually taken it as a case where interim directions can be passed, governing, because this comes to the category prima facie of disinformation. As you're well aware, we have the Drugs and Magic Remedies Act, which was there in the Supreme Court, wherein one of the learned members of the bench had used the phrase, "We will rip you apart." So the point is that the scrutiny which was shown on Patanjali, because of course Patanjali was, the allegations that Patanjali Ayurveda had made certain misleading claims. National experience, history and experience have told us that Indians are strongly vulnerable to misleading advice, especially in the realm of healthcare. I can tell you from my personal life that we had a friend in our family who suffered from cancer. So I do believe that the court should have, just as in several cases when there is no law on the topic, the court has taken it as an opportunity to frame certain guidelines, which I feel could have been here guidelines to regulate the conduct of citizens, or for authorities a framework to take action, because a more practical approach has to be taken, and the judicial scrutiny which was placed on Patanjali, similar judicial scrutiny should be placed on the claims made by Mr. Sidhu also.
Advocate Rekha, if I can get you a Anjali issue, and then you have how the court has addressed Navjot Singh Sidhu's issue. And when you would say that he's an influencer, forget about being an influencer, he's a celebrity by all rights.
See, what I would say over here that in the media now, when Patanjali was taken to task by the Honorable Supreme Court, it was because of the tall and false claim that they were making as a company, as a medicine provider, or as an Ayurvedic manufacturer of medicines, which was there for commercial use in the market in a very big way. Any commercial bounty out of it, he's got nothing to reap. He's not making any benefit or no profit out of it. He, as an individual, he may be a celebrity, he may be an influencer, whatever you may like to call him. But as an individual, as a citizen of the country, he, having treated his wife at the time, he has nowhere said that his wife was not given any allopathic treatment or any chemotherapy or any such thing. Had he said that, look, I cured my wife only by giving these kind of Ayurvedic medicines or these home medicines, like you say, then yes, that he would have been Patanjali is absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Patanjali was making a commercial profit, and that too in crores of rupees. And they were misleading. That is why Supreme Court took them to task.
Dr. Prashant Mehta, if I can get you in. Dr. Prashant Mehta, so the basic question that's being raised, and therefore you can counter opinion with opinion, but is that how you as an oncologist look at this?
So I would just start with commenting upon what the Honorable Court has said. And sometimes what people come out and said something which is scientifically incorrect, and he has boasted of it also on a public platform, and people have really taken to it and have really started following it. It becomes slightly concerning. And when the High Court on answer and says that cigarette smoking is injurious to health, so whatever such posts are there on Twitter or wherever, they also should come with the rider that okay, this is scientifically not correct. So I cannot go into the because with logic you cannot battle emotion. Logic can never answer. Who has battled it? My heart goes out for her, and I want her to recover and do very well and live a very long and healthy life. But in my OPD, outpatient department, I know that I face a lot of problems when people don't understand. Neither the Twitterati, neither Sidhuji, nobody is there to help us. And we with the family are sitting in a chamber, counseling them for hours and trying to explain where we are and what we are going to do. So that perspective is never going to come out.
Dr. Prashant Mehta, just a very personal question. How often has it happened over the last week?
So I'll tell you, as the Honorable Court of Law has thought that the people of India are very intelligent, I think that might be the case. We are underestimating people. There are instances when people have come base and seen Earth is round. Everybody knows it as a fact now. So, people do understand. They understand the science. They start reading. They start talking to us, and they reach out to the doctors. I know that few people have come and taken tulsi leaves and come with loose stools or diarrhea and acidity or inability to eat all these neem leaves and give them the facts. We know that we don't have such a big following. We can't influence such a large number of people, but at least we can do the right thing. And I think as doctors, probably fighting out emotions with logic is probably not going to work. And our strategy perspective on Twitter, or like the way Sidhuji can.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Acharya Vikramaditya, if I can get you in, Acharya Vikramaditya. So here's what the court has said, and here's what the doctors are saying. And you would also agree, those who have cancer, who are battling with cancer, or any that are not giving out the complete picture, but only partial picture, and then possibly the other partial pictures in pieces, bits and pieces over the next few days. But nonetheless, it's not giving out the whole picture, even as Sidhu eventually over the days proved it, is
पब्लिसिटी स्टंट समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपन बहुत सारी विश्व के अंदर आज टर्मरिक के ऊपर ही बात करें तो रिसर्च हो रही है अमेरिका में भी बहुत सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ अमेरिका की तरफ से रिलीज की जाती है प्रेस रिलीजेस रिसर्च पेपर्स हैं वो कह रहे हैं कि टर्मरिक का जो हल्दी का है उसका बहुत आहार शुद्ध करने का तरीका है आज जितने जो कैंसर बढ़ रहा है वर्ल्ड वाइड उसका एक सबसे बड़ा कारण जो है कि एडल्ट्रेटेड फूड है अगर उसको हम ठीक करने का प्रयास करेंगे तो उसको वर्ल्ड वाइड समझा जा सकता है लेकिन अभी मैं कहूंगा अभी डॉक्टर साहब ने एक केस डाला जो कोर्ट के अंदर गया 8,000 करोड़ का समथिंग का प्योरली पब्लिसिटी स्टंट है कभी उन्होंने चीज जो बेसिकली एक चीज को प्रमोट कर रही है आधी जो दवाइयां हैं उनकी वजह से जितना कैंसर हो रहा है
I would urge Acharya Vikramaditya to stick to the topic because if you talk about medicines that I don't know of and I haven't researched, I will not be able to respond. This is your opinion, but stick to the topic and it will be much more helpful for the...
So what? No, it is not a matter of unverified. I am simply saying this thing कि what अगर पेशेंट अपना ऑब्जर्वेशन बता रहा है तो उसमें दिक्कत क्या है अब हजारों पेशेंट मेरे हॉस्पिटल्स में आते हैं वो अपनी ऑब्जर्वेशन बताते हैं हम उनको सुनना पड़ता है हमको देखना चाहिए उसमें जो अच्छा है उसको लेने से खराब क्या है उसको अगर टर्मरिक ले रहा है अपनी हेल्थ अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं व्हाट इज हार्म इन दैट उसमें कहीं हार्म नहीं है अगर इसको अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं और जहां तक है कि बेसिकली अगर मोर्टेलिटी की जो डेथ रेट है वो किसी में भी हो सकती है सो मेनी पीपल आर डाइंग विद द एलोपैथी ऑल्सो
So,
even if they are taking the medicines
Dr.
of
Mehta,
the allopathy, modern
he says so and so and so, the neem or tulsi or whatever, intermittent fasting, XYZ has helped it. And if we can have that graphics on what were the dietary prescriptions completely that were given to him and how it helped his wife battle cancer. Is your concern that
So first of all, I would like to clarify one thing. There is no term called allopathy. There's no bona fide term like allopathy. It is being rampantly used. But modern medicine or scientific medicine or evidence-based medicine is not allopathy. There is no such one is non-evidence-based. Whatever is proven in Ayurveda is evidence-based and is very good science, and we believe in it. And we believe in everything which is evidence-based. And evidence does not come by observations. It has to be proven statistically. And statistics is mathematics. And it is fact, and it are actually working. They're statistically correct or true. But observations are anecdotes. Right. There are, they cannot be equated to something which actually works. Whatever medications are evidence-based, there is a package insert, there is a package label, which actually tells that by doing what you're doing, use a certain drug for a patient, we have to tell them, okay, this particular treatment, even if it is a targeted drug, these toxicities, oral mucositis or diarrhea or nausea or even death can happen to you. These are drugs which can have side effects. It is documented. That is scientific. It is evidence-based. But when it's tested in thousands of patients in a randomized fashion, we don't know what harm it can cause. So anything, any compound, like let's say the chemotherapy drugs, you talk a lot of it. Some of these chemotherapy drugs come from plants. So why is it not Ayurveda? Paclitaxel, which is
very
and what is not
important counters
evidence-based.
by
And
Dr.
that is
Mehta.
the only thing
Essentially, the
doctors have a
point being
problem
made,
with.
what Navjot Sidhu spoke was not a complete picture. And that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, certainly I earn medicine. The amount of around 1,000 crores of rupees are being invested on the research on. But in case of Ayurveda, where the pharmaceutical companies, they will never invest this thing on the Ayurvedic things. Even the government is, from last so many years, we have seen this thing. The government has not taken any initiative.
Sir, the point is not that. The point is with what is existing, what is evidence and what is non-evidence, what could be recommendatory and facilitative, and what can be a complete medical solution. I think the two are very distinct. That's really what it is. What can be done for Ayurveda and what can't be, that's a very different discussion. Mr. Sidhu, especially talking about issues pertaining to public health, can enter dangerous territories when it is not the complete picture. And is that where the trouble is? And can something like that be countered with only an opinion? Because look at when Mr. Sidhu actually reached the Aam Janta across the country, it's already a very imbalanced discontinuum for that matter.
I do agree with you to some extent that Mr. Sidhu, being a public figure, line and sinker and say that, yes, now we have found the cure. Mr. Sidhu has said that, okay, take this particular diet and you're going to get your body rid of cancer. But at the same time, while I would say that, yes, probably I do not disagree with you that, yes, Mr. opinion which he voiced. Therefore, a person should be more, in control of what he voices, his personal belief. He could have kept that to himself, but probably he had a legitimate and bona fide reason for, propounding the use of certain things like, haldi and neem, etc. Who are there on TV, and they're propounding so many medicines, so many health supplements, and making tall claims that you have this and, your height is going to increase and, your body is going to be rid of all these toxins, etc. So many health foods are there. Forget all these things, advertisements to be endorsed by celebrities.
Right.
And there are no such advertisements of tobacco and liquor, in public. But at the same time, our actors and celebrities are also, voicing about a certain medicines. For example, even crocin, a harmless medicine like crocin. Yes. So I think that
Think about that as well, but the contention right now is very, very different. So Aditya Pratap, if I can come to you for your last response, is it essentially about public morality is at one stand, but it doesn't necessarily have to be on crossroads when it comes to legality? Two are very different territories. At least that's what the
opportunity to set a precedent in this regard, because it is very clear that not just because a person of a celebrity status is making such claims in the public domain. So if you see, one of the experts here had said that I cannot draw parallels with the Patanjali case. A large group of people. Now, the law, so what we can see is, even if I take that there is a slight, that because the question is, okay, the act might, and I would put the ball in two courts here. Number one, the court should have seen it as an opportunity of, second, the government also should see it as a basis that of coming out with the legislation to govern disinformation. Because if we see that there are two words which law uses, false and misleading. False is something which is entirely untrue, whereas may run the risk of falling in the realm of misleading.
I'm totally out of time, sir, so let me just very quickly go to Dr. Kuldeep Solanki. My last question to you, you had Acharya speak here and he said what you have done is nothing short of just a press gimmick or, on those lines. But let's also look at what the court has said. To get off the bandwagon of what the court has said, just a fear of contempt.
Yeah. I'll quickly wind it up. The basic intention here is Mr. Sidhu has gained so much endangering people. And the reason why I say so is there is no record which shows that cancer can be cured by simple Gharilu Totka. It has to be documented, it has to be analyzed, and then it has to be published and
but
then taken into.
He did say that his wife
Suffering from stage 4 cancer, only 3% probability of survival, and in 40 days he turned up the tide by reading 8 to 10 hours per day. So probably Mr. Sidhu has become a physician or a doctor from being a comedian. It is he has to show up the public. It is my right. It is
actually just opened this up to altogether another territory. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Dr. Kuldeep Solanki, Acharya Vikramaditya, Dr. Prashant Mehta, Rekha Agarwal, as well as Aditya Pratap, thank you very much for your time. I think one thing that is important, any other counter can reach up. Thank you very much for tuning in. Time for a very short break. On the other side, news and updates.